So Assassin's Creed Mirage is releasing in just a few months, and the hype surrounding the game is getting pretty intense. Now, a few days ago, the creatives over at Ubisoft did an AMA over on Reddit discussing what things are going to be in the game and obviously which things aren't. And in this video, I'm just going to be quickly breaking that all down for you, and I'm telling you now, we've got some pretty tasty information. So let's just get straight into it. So the game won't actually feature any modern day segments, which I am a bit annoyed about, but it will feature a modern day scene in the beginning of the game, similar to how we had it with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and also with the ending of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where Basim actually was brought into the modern day. I don't know how I feel about that. I would have loved to have some modern day segments with Basim, you know, discussing about his past, why he's actually going into it. It's a bit tricky, but hopefully in the future games, they bring back the modern day in full force. Now, there are going to be surprises though regarding the Isu, which is of course the advanced civilization that predates humanity in the lore of the franchise. Now, if you don't know much about them, quick backstory, they basically created Adam and Eve and the pieces of Eden to basically control humanity. Now, there was this huge catastrophe which we saw in Assassin's Creed 3, which if it wasn't for Desmond's sacrifice would have happened again. Now, some of the Isu are good, but most of them are just bad and not to be trusted, especially Juno. I still can't get over what they did with Juno. Anyway, there is going to be a huge lore presence with the Isu in the game. Of course, going back over the leaks, it does seem to be that the story is that there's going to be an Isu sort of hidden base within Baghdad, and of course Basim is tasked with figuring out what it is, why he's there, and also why he's seeing these weird visions of this little thing. People think it's a djinn. Personally, I think it's Loki coming back to haunt his memories. They also go on to speak about the parkour system, which we know has borrowed elements from various Assassin's Creed games, but they are focusing on fluidity. Now, we all thought it was going to be like Assassin's Creed Unity, and we were wrong, okay? I'll be the first to put my hands up and say I was wrong. It's more going back to Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, you know, all the way up to maybe AC3 or AC4. Speaking of that, there are no back or side ejects though, which I think just, why? If they want to go back to the fluidity, then give us side ejects and back ejects. It just makes it a lot more simple. But they are apparently still fine-tuning this to ensure the player has control on fluidity and agility. Now, if you saw my recent video, I went over and basically tested the parkour between Mirage's gameplay walkthrough and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they are very, very similar, okay? Yes, maybe Mirage is a bit faster, it has a couple more animations, but they are very similar to the running speed, the running animation, the little hops, the jumps, you know, it's all very similar. So we'll have to wait until we get our hands on the game to actually truly test it out. Do, however, get some information about the skill tree and the tree abilities that are dependent on one another, and they also require a path to unlock, similar to that in Valhalla. Now, they won't be as dense and as wide of a range of abilities like in Valhalla, which is honestly a good thing. It was too much, and just to unlock them to get into a different area, it was terrible. But most of the skills can be unequipped, except the ones related to additional tools. So for instance, if you have a skill that, you know, you might have on because you're using your throwing knives or your smoke bombs, you can't unequip that because it's in use with a tool. The armor and outfits can also not be unequipped, but can be overridden visually with a costume transmog, which we saw in the trailer and with some little clips over on Twitter, meaning yes, these gear will be sticking to Basim, but you can just change it straight away, similar to how we had our different dyes within Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and so on. Now, we're getting more into the stealthy element of Mirage's gameplay, and they actually go on to say that you can blend in with any groups of 3 or more individuals except children, obviously, because if Basim's just stood there with a bunch of small children around him, it's gonna look weird and definitely suspicious. Now, there are actually 3 tiers of the 5 tools that each tier allows players to pick a new modifier. So for example, smoke bombs can be turned into a healing vapor, refilling Basim's health, bringing more of that RPG element rather than just, you know, giving us a like health gear or whatever. But this means that, let's say for instance, the smoke bombs, instead of a healing factor, they can have a damage factor. So if you chuck a smoke bomb down on an enemy, instead of just making them unable to see you, you will then start to damage them, which is actually quite cool because we had something similar in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood with Ezio's bomb crafting mechanic. I just wish they brought that back into this game because it would make a lot of sense. You know, Basim's smoke bombs have different colors, and of course now they have different abilities and modifications. Why not just bring that back into the game? It would have been really cool to see. Now, out in the world, there will be similar events to AC Valhalla for its loot and treasures, as well as new events such as pickpocketing for contracts and roaming targets to tackle. Very similar, the roaming targets, to what we had in previous games. You know, oh, tackle this guard here. It's giving me AC Unity vibes. You know, oh, this protected citizen, or this person's being attacked, attack them, that sort of thing. And it's great to see have some more density within the world. It was good to see them in Valhalla, just Valhalla's world was too big, and trying to get to one place to another, there was barely anything there other than open world. So good to see this all combined into Baghdad. Talking about Baghdad, the first main target in the game is mandatory to track from its own dedicated bureau, but the rest of the game will give players the freedom to tackle from one of 3 other bureaus in Baghdad, meaning we have a free range of choice when it comes to taking down these targets. Of course, the first main target will sort of be a tutorial going over the game's world, the environment, you know, what sort of things you can and can't do, and then it's up to us. I love this. This is Assassin's Creed. It's very giving me like Hitman vibes, you know, this is what you have to do, but afterwards, go on, it's your world, do whatever you want. Great to see. Talismans. They are cosmetic and well hidden in the world. It's not confirmed whether or not they actually do anything, but I'm guessing after you unlocked all of the talismans and find them in the world, you unlock a special cosmetic. Hopefully it's not for nothing, but I'm guessing the challenges might be parkour based, so it's good to have that. Now, talking about the story in the game, it will tell the origins of a rebellion called the Anarchy at Samarra, which is another city in Iraq and the birthplace of Basim, but unfortunately we won't visit the city itself. Now, perhaps we'll tell its origins within the beginning cutscene, because as we know, Basim did have to flee with his father got killed. Check out my Who is Basim video in the description to get up to date on his backstory. Unfortunately, we won't be able to visit it. That's okay. You know, focus on one city, make it as good as possible. But again, we'll probably see it in a cutscene. They're also going to speak about something that was sort of a huge revelation within the community, that Mirage was decided upon as an independent game rather than a Valhalla expansion only a few weeks after work started on it, and that is classic Ubisoft. You know, it could have been a expansion, but instead they're making it into a full game because they realize people like Basim's character. They do, and it's really cool that they're focusing on the community aspect of everything. We wanted a proper assassin story, and many people, including myself, wanted Basim to be the antagonist, or protagonist, sorry, within Valhalla. So I'm glad they did this choice. It's given us a bigger game, and if it was a DLC, it wouldn't be as good as it's going to be, 100%. Now, they speak about the playtimes, and the playtime is roughly going to be 20 hours if you just go through everything, around 25 to then 30 if you take your time and unlock everything, which is great as long as the story is there. I mean, they spoke about that in the same way with Unity, but I remember way back when Unity came out, I think it was around 2013, 2014, or 2014, 2015, something like that. I got it on a midnight release, got home around 12:30 at night, took me 11 hours to complete Unity. 11 hours, that's it. But then obviously when you go back and play through it all, you notice there's a ton of other stuff to do, and that will lead me way over 40, 50 hours. So I'm hoping it's not like that where they say it's 20 hours, but you can just complete it in like 11. We won't know until we get the game in our hands, but hopefully it's a good enough story that players will want to revisit it and play it over and over again. Now, the credits will also roll at the end of the game, unlike the last few where you'll be able to see the credits but you can just skip past them. The credits will roll, you can't skip past them. Maybe there's a hidden cinematic at the end of it, you know, like all those Marvel movies, but you never know. You also can't toggle Basim's hood on and off, for he has to be a hidden one throughout the game. Now, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Maybe, you know, throughout the world Basim has to be hidden because that's the part of the creed, that's what he does. He doesn't want to be seen, you know, that's all good. But what about when he's in his bureaus? Surely he puts his hood off in the bureau, you know, other than in the cutscene. But hey, I just want toggle hood on or off. If he has it off, you know, make it a lot easier for the guards to see him, but you don't know. Each district of Baghdad will have its own bureau. Of course, we just spoke, there will be one of 3. So within the city of Baghdad, there should be 3 districts with 3 different bureaus. Now, the journey will also focus on Basim becoming a master assassin, and therefore he won't be training others during the course of the game, which is good. Obviously, there'll be a few years between Mirage and Valhalla, so we won't see how he meets Hytham and all that stuff. This story is focusing on Basim's journey, and it's great to see. And last but not least, the game will tackle philosophies regarding freedom, justice, and Basim's own struggles. Of course, the main struggle being with Loki hidden within his mind, and I, for one, and very excited to get my hands on the game and finally play Basim Ibn Shihak within Assassin's Creed Mirage. So guys and girls, in the comment section down below, let me know what you think about all of this information. I know it's a lot, but it's some cool stuff that we can think about, that we can theorize about, and of course get excited for Mirage when it finally releases. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have an amazing day. Like the video, comment down below what you're excited about in Mirage, and also don't forget to subscribe for some more AC content. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.